Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Podcast about anything New York City. From urban planning to news to city life to history, me and my guests are happy to tell our stories and impart our experience and ideas about the wonderful city we live in and have some fun in the process. My name is Ishan Mehta, and you're listening to episode 5 of Myra NYC. I'm here today with Myra Rubin. Myra, how are you doing?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm all great. So today is June 3rd, 2026, and we'll be talking about Howard Beach, Linden Boulevard, and more. Myra, you live in Howard Beach, correct?
I live in Howard Beach. I've been there quite a long time. I was actually the first tenant in my apartment when the building was built.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
First one to move into a newly built building. That sounds really cool. A lot of great places in Howard Beach. I went there once. I know it has New Park Pizza, really great place.
New Park Pizza is actually on the list of the top 10 pizza places in New York City. It has been on there for quite a while.
Yep, Howard Beach. It's also really close to the water. It looks very, like I looked on a map once and I saw Howard Beach and it's like, how is this New York? I know there's a lot of places that feels like, how is this New York? But when you look at it on the map specifically, it really feels like its own isolated little thing. Like the way it's shaped as well as like a rectangle, it stands out a lot. And I always wondered, like, what's it like there? And I did go there once and it was really cool.
Well, it does. It is a little world of its own. And Howard Beach actually has 4 parts. The first part is called Lindenwood. That's where I live. It's multifamily dwellings. And then further back from me is Rockwood Park. And then on the other side of Cross Bay Boulevard is Old Howard Beach and West Hamilton Beach. And they're all very different neighborhoods, believe it or not. Lindenwood, multifamily dwellings. Rockwood Park, rich people. Old Howard Beach, people that have been there for a really long time. Amazing salt of the earth. Hamilton Beach, people that are not as affluent and they've been living there forever as well. It's not as well developed as the rest.
Right. You know, I remember seeing this little bridge that goes to Hamilton Beach from Howard Beach in the little waterway that separates the two. It was a nice little bridge. You could even fit a car on it, but I think it was closed to cars, which was great. You could walk on it. I took a really nice photo of it by the water once, and I'm sure people probably wonder if it's New York City because it doesn't look like that by the water. But it is. And
it does not look like that at all. And actually, there was a second bridge, a wooden bridge, that was just for pedestrians. And that bridge burned down many years ago. The bridge you're talking about, though, is for cars and people.
Yeah, that's so sad. I love bridges so much, especially to walk on. I wish all of the bridges in New York were walkable because walking on bridges is just the best.
That would be interesting. I haven't done that yet. I would like to do that.
You haven't walked on any bridges yet?
I have not. I have not walked on any bridges. I would like to do the Brooklyn Bridge, but that's a lot for me. But that's
It
okay.
is. I know there are plenty of small bridges you can try out. There's a new one at like Sheep's Head Bay. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's kind of similar to the one in Howard Beach, where it's just small water separating them, so they just have a small walkway over that. There's the ones that go across the greenways, like there's the one on 151st Street in like Hamilton Heights that goes over to like a waterfront. There's a one by Sudden Place Park, a newly built one. That's a really beautiful looking bridge.
Cool.
Very urban looking bridge.
Well, actually, now that you say it, I actually have walked over the little bridge to Hamilton Beach.
You have, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I went to a fair there in Hamilton.
Okay.
Now, as I was mentioning, Cross Bay Boulevard is the dividing line between Lindenwood, Rockwood Park, and Old Howard Beach, West Hamilton. Old Howard Beach and West Hamilton are on Jamaica Bay, and Rockwood Park is by the ocean. During Hurricane Sandy, the ocean and Jamaica Bay met in the middle of Cross Bay Boulevard, and there is video somewhere of one of my neighbors swimming down his block.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That reminds me of this thing that came out recently. There was a flood in New York, of course, and there was that clip of the woman getting off the bus and being washed down the street. Have you seen that clip?
No, I missed that one. But you know what? Every time it rains, Old Howard Beach and Hamilton Beach get flooded. They have to move their cars.
Yeah, everywhere in New York has been getting flooded recently. You know what's interesting is I've never seen a flood in New York.
Wow.
I know it's devastating for the people there, but I really do want to go find one day. Next time there's a flood, I want to go find the neighborhood that it's in and just check it out for myself. Where does it start? Where does it end? But I really hope eventually the city does something about the infrastructure because the floods are only going to get worse from here.
For real. Yeah, we also have Spring Creek, which is not terribly far, and that floods and overflows every once in a while. And if you want to see a flood, anytime it's a heavy rain, go to West Hamilton Beach, take the A train. And the A train goes over the water.
Right. It's a really cool bridge that goes over the water.
It is, but it's a little scary because you look out and there's water.
Yeah, it could definitely be.
And during high tide, you're like, am I going to drown?
Yeah, but hey, at least they updated the infrastructure like a year ago now, I
They did.
believe. Yeah.
They did. It is kind of
It was
cool.
really nice when I went to Howard Beach that one time. Sitting by the beach, I could see the A train going over the
Right.
on the bridge, and it was a perfect photo as
Yeah.
well. I
And you
loved
could
it.
also see, if you're in Old Howard Beach at Charles Park, you could see Kennedy Airport. Like if I had a boat, I could be at Kennedy Airport in like 6 minutes. Of course, I'd get arrested because I'd be on a runway, but I could be there in 6 minutes to meet the cops.
Definitely, you could easily get on your flight, easily catch your flight.
Exactly. I'll be running down the runway.
I really do want to boat around the Long Island Sound and
Mm.
like the Atlantic one day. Like I know there's the NYC Transit Ferry, but I know that only goes to some places. Like you can't really go up to College Point. It goes to
Right, but you can go to the
Soundview.
Rockaways.
That's true. I
Yeah.
actually, you want to know something? I actually took the ferry to the Rockaways
Did you?
once.
I would
Yeah,
like
it
to do
was
that.
really fun. Me and some of my friends, we took the ferry all the way down from Wall Street all the way to the Rockaways. We passed Coney Island, we
Yep.
passed Bay Ridge, and then we explored the Rockaways for a bit, which was really fun to do. And then we just took the A train back. And
Okay.
it was my first time there. I'm sure it was other people's first time there as well, at least around that area.
And the A train from there, that's a long ride.
It was pretty long.
Yeah.
We didn't like the car we were in, so we went to switch it, and then people were just sleeping in there.
Oh no.
But
Uh-oh.
yeah.
So now Howard Beach is actually famous for a couple of things, so not just New Park. Also famous former residents, Jay Black from Jay and the Americans, a band from the 60s, John Gotti, who everybody knows without saying, and Vitas Gerulaitis, who was a tennis player, lived in Howard Beach.
Wow.
Yeah. And Jay Black lived actually a couple of blocks from where I live, and we used to like walk in front of his house when we were kids, just to stand and stare at his house. Nothing.
Yeah, it's always fun going to like celebrities' houses and be like, this person grew up here. I've done that before.
Exactly. And John Gotti, what he used to do for Christmas, he used to have somebody dress up as Santa and give presents to all the little kids that came by. But then he moved somewhere else.
Oh, where'd he move to?
Jail.
Oh, yeah. I don't know very many celebrities, so
Yeah.
I don't know the destinies for all of them as well as everyone else does.
Yeah. And one of the stories from Howard Beach, well, from personal story, is many years ago, they were digging at a place in Howard Beach, right between Howard Beach and East New York. They were digging for Jimmy Hoffa, a famous person who's been missing forever. And they think he's in concrete somewhere. Anyway, it was in the newspaper that they were going to be digging at this certain spot. And I told everybody here that all they're going to do is they're going to find the remains of my Chihuahua, because that's where my father buried the Chihuahua. And the next day in the newspaper, all that were found was a pair of glasses and the remains of a small dog. And people here came and told me that if I hadn't told them the day before, they would never have believed me.
I know, that's really interesting. Very, very local story.
Exactly.
And that this was in the Jewel Streets, correct?
No, this was actually what we call the ditch. It was right off of 149th Avenue and 79th Street. And it led into these houses that are in a ditch. And the girls from down there used to beat us up because we took the boys away. It was, I think, right before the Jewel Streets. Because the Jewel Streets don't really come into Lindenwood as much as they do into Rockwood Park and into East New York. It was, I guess, a block or so before the Jewel Streets.
I see. So for those of you who don't know, the Jewel Streets are a part of New York in the border by like East New York and South Ozone Park that are just very underdeveloped. The houses are very run down, like an apocalypse. It's not connected to the sewers exactly, so it goes really deep into the ground, like I think maybe even below sea level. It can flood a lot, and it feels like something from like a movie. It's very abandoned. Sometimes people hide out there, sometimes people hide things there. And, people think that it might get developed one day. Stories sometimes happen about it developing. Nothing's happened for many years.
Yeah, they've
but-
been doing a lot of development around it, but not in that particular area. And the road, sometimes my drivers who take me home, they'll go that way for some bizarre reason. And the streets are terrible. And it truly is a ditch. And the houses are run down, they're broken, and people do live in them.
It's like a junkyard there. too,
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. Really, it's a ditch. It's a big hill to come up. So I don't know
Yeah.
why anybody would take anybody down there.
I know in Cross Bay Boulevard, it goes up to the Cross Bay Bridge and you can walk through Broad Channel and all the way up. And I know they recently, about a year ago, they expanded the bridge a little bit to make it better for pedestrians and bikes. So that's a walk I want to do one day.
Yeah. A lot of people go fishing there. And a lot of people don't take care of their garbage. So my neighborhood, the neighbors get together and a couple of times a year, they'll go and clean the walking part of the bridge.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I recently found a user who's been like organizing cleanups throughout New York to clean up neighborhoods. And that's definitely something I might want to join one day. It's like
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
awesome.
communities come together to just repair things in New York, which is good. So everyone's worried about, people and humanity, but there's people like this that are trying to help, which is
Exactly. There's
great.
a lot of community stuff going on in Howard Beach. They have a Memorial Day parade. We have a route that somebody maps out for us to look at Christmas lights, to look at Halloween lights. And there's a contest. The best Halloween decoration wins stuff, like gift cards to the neighborhood stores and a lot of stuff like that. So there's a lot of community stuff, which is awesome.
That sounds really great. Not all neighborhoods have that. So
Right.
it's good that Howard Beach has a sense of community. A lot of Queens has that sense of community. I
Yeah.
know Diker Heights, they're known for the Christmas lights. I actually went there this Christmas to see the Christmas lights. They were beautiful.
Those are awesome, right? I've never been.
You should go. And
Yeah.
you should go there in the daytime as well, even not during the holidays. It's still a really nice neighborhood at that time of year as well. I went there again in April. It was very beautiful to be in Diker Heights.
And how did you get there?
I went down to like Bensonhurst. I was going to play tennis in a park with my friend. Turns
Okay.
out there were no tennis courts. Apparently there was a private one nearby. We had to pay like $50 for it.
Oh,
So
no,
we
thank
just
you.
walked on this waterfront, which I'll get more into later, up over to another park. I think it was Diker Beach Park. And then we played tennis there. And it was very beautiful to be in a new area and play. The only thing is the tennis court was right next to the road. So all of
Oh,
our
no.
tennis balls, it kept getting hit onto the road. Some of them would get flattened by cars.
I bet.
And I'm sure the people driving were probably upset, blaming us, but
I'm
the
sure.
infrastructure is not really our fault, is it?
Right. No, I guess not. I wonder how many windshields were lost
Yeah.
in the process.
And then we walked through Diker Heights up to, I believe it was Popeyes.
Okay. Now, like during the holidays, you can take a bus tour. It's $65 per person for the bus tour around Diker Heights, but
Right.
I haven't done that yet. I would like to. It is definitely an interesting thing. Oh, and also in Howard Beach, the subway is there, but it's only in Old Howard Beach and it goes through Hamilton Beach. But you can also get the train to the plane there, the air train.
Right.
So if you park a couple blocks away from the station, you can get to the airport. And if you really want to, you could even get to Jamaica on the air train, but you
Yeah.
have to pay twice.
Yeah, how does that work? How much do you have to pay for the air train?
I believe it's 8.25 now.
Okay.
But now you have to pay to get on at Howard Beach and you have to pay to get off at Jamaica. So it's really
Ah.
not cost
See,
effective.
I don't know how the air train works. I want to figure out
It's
how because
so-
I do want to go in it, see the view. I know it goes over the Van Wyck Expressway. I'm sure it has a great view of southern Queens.
I bet. But now, if you want to go for free, then you would get on at Lefferts Boulevard and you can get the Q10 bus goes right there. And so that's called Kiss and Fly. So you can get on the air train there and you could ride it for a while and just don't exit at Howard Beach or Jamaica. Because through the terminals, it's free. And then if you have to get off at Jamaica, just go to the next track and get back on the one going the other way.
All right.
But it's very convenient. It's also convenient for people who live on Long Island who have to get to JFK because they'll go to the Jamaica Long Island Railroad station and just jump on the air
So
train.
how do you pay for it? Do you have to like buy tickets?
No, right now it's with a Metro card, but I don't know what's going to happen
So it's more of like a pay up front thing like the subway.
exactly to get in. And then to get out, though, you have to pay again. So you have to hit the Metro card again.
That
I don't
seems
know
annoying.
what's going to happen when Metro cards are gone. I guess they'll have to put in some Omni
Oh, they still
readers.
have Metro cards for it?
Apparently.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, well, I know you also live in the Lindenwood area.
I
What's that
do.
like? I know it's very different from Howard Beach, even though it's technically part of it.
Exactly. And yes, some people don't consider it Howard Beach, although it very much
Yeah,
is.
It's inland.
Believe it or not, there's less crime in Lindenwood than there is in Rockwood Park or in Old Howard Beach. I don't know much about crime in Hamilton. I don't think there's much. But Lindenwood, the people aren't as rich, so you'd think it might be more. Less.
Oh, that's
And-
interesting to think, especially since it's right next to East New York.
Yes. There used to be a fence. And when they took the fence down, unfortunately, crime did increase a little bit. I can't say it's because of that, but it's coincidental. And what happened was one of the streets, 79th Street, is actually a one-way street going out to Linden Boulevard. You can't come back in from Linden Boulevard. And that was one of the reasons that it was done to protect crime. I don't know, I don't know how fair that is. I don't know how effective it is, but that's what they did.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem kind of sad that people put a fence up to keep you out. So
Yeah.
it's good that they
Well,
took
the
it
fence
down.
was there before I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is exactly.
Yeah.
But the great thing about Lindenwood is it's become much more diverse, which is awesome. Rockwood Park and Old Howard Beach are not as diverse, but in Lindenwood, you can find people of every color, every race, every size, every ethnicity, which is part of what makes it so special.
Yep, Queens is a diverse place. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's what a lot of people think Queens is known for. But like, of course it's diverse. I like to think about other things about like the infrastructure and, the way it looks and feels, the distance. That's always fun too. The elevation, the texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
I am in an apartment building and I have a terrace. So I get to, go out on the terrace and look at the moon. And during 4th of July, come to Howard Beach if you want to see fireworks. Okay. If you're noise sensitive, don't come to Howard Beach on 4th of July. I can just watch them from my terrace. I don't have to go anywhere else.
I'll keep that in
People
mind.
across the street from me, they have a lot of fireworks. But I feel bad for people's dogs.
What's the view from your terrace?
Good question. I'm on 151st Avenue, and I see right across from me are 3 family homes, and diagonally across are other buildings, but that's 3 family homes, so I can kind of see. And what I look out on mainly would be South Conduit and just a bunch of 3 family homes.
Okay, so do you see the skyline?
I can see, yeah, I can see the skyline.
How much of it? Would you say you can see the Upper East Side or just more Midtown and all the skyscrapers?
Depends on where you are. Actually, from the bedroom windows, you could actually see the Empire State Building.
Okay.
Yeah. And when you're coming off the Belt Parkway into Howard Beach, you can see a lot of buildings from the skyline. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Also, so I know from Howard Beach, not just from Howard Beach, but like there to the west, all the way to Bay Ridge, there's a very big waterfront around the Belt Parkway that you can walk for miles, which I want to do one day. I know they have some small bridges that also go over the water parts, which is kind of what I meant before.
Yeah.
And I do want to walk on it. I've walked on some of it from Bensonhurst to Dyker Heights, of course, but not the one by Bay Ridge, not the entire Belt Parkway, definitely not all the way to Howard Beach. Because it seems really niche looking at it on a map. It looks like, is that an actually walkable area? But I'm sure it is, and I want to walk on it.
Yeah, but it doesn't go as far as you'd think. But we call it the bike path. A lot of people bicycle there. And it definitely does go into Brooklyn. And I don't exactly know where it ends. I've never gotten to the end of it. But unless you kind of go off and walk through an exit or something, you're only on one side of the belt. So you're only on the eastbound side. So if you want to go like to the stores at Erskine Street, you're going to have to walk and get to an exit somehow and then walk across.
That is really annoying. I remember walking on the Riverside waterfront in like Riverside Park on the west side. I once wanted to get off at like 113th Street. I had to go all the way up to Manhattanville just to get off and then go back down from there. So they do definitely need to put more exits in some of these waterfronts. But walking on waterfronts itself is just really lovely. Each of them are different, and each of them are nice and walkable. No crosswalks where you have to sit and wait for it to be the walking sign. You can just walk by the water, walk forever. I love walking, as you guys know. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it fun.
Well, in Old Howard Beach, there's also a park called Charles Park. And it used to have a beach, but now it's all eroded. But there are benches, there's grass. You can sit there and look out at the water. It's really comforting and really soothing. But I will tell you, the temperature difference is crazy. So if you're sitting in front of the water, it's usually nice and cool. When you go back to your car, just like 20 feet, it is so hot. So it's just amazing. Being by the water gives such a difference in temperature. And actually, some of the stores on Cross Bay Boulevard are right on the water. So that's kind of cool, too. When I used to go to a dermatologist there, while I was waiting for my appointment, I would walk in the parking lot and look out at the water.
Oh, that's a nice, entertaining thing to have.
And now we have a highway called the Nassau Expressway. And it starts in Howard Beach. And for decades, they never finished it. Finally, now they finished it. It goes to Atlantic Beach. It goes to the Atlantic Beach Bridge. But for decades, it was just a stretch of road, and then it ended.
Yeah, I know there's a thing with the Van Wyck where they've been working on the other lane for so many years. And now at this point, people don't want to prioritize car infrastructure right now. So it's already kind of out of date, and it's been worked on for like 3-4 decades.
That is very true. Yes, I figure that the work on the Van Wyck probably started before I was born, and it will end 2,000 years after I'm gone. That's how long they're taking. It's so crazy.
Longer than it's taking to like build a subway at this point.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? I know it can be done faster because they had to build a bridge right up the block here, and they finished it in 2 weeks. They had to replace the bridge that connects the two sides of the Grand Central Parkway. It was done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there are a lot of things in New York that people can either get done like super quickly if they really feel like working on it, or just like don't want to do it at all. Because like one thing I'm glad that they've been prioritizing is those upgrades on the bridges, adding wider pedestrian lanes and making it ADA accessible. Like the
Cool.
one with the RFK bridge, they completed that like 4 months ahead of schedule and within budget. So for some things, they're really not messing around, and for other things, they're just kind of laid back on it.
Exactly, they're being lazy. Well, somebody once told me that they take their time because they don't know where their next job is going to come from. So they stretch it out to keep the job. I don't know if that's the truth, but it made sense.
I suppose. I know
Yeah.
the Second Avenue subway is taking a really long time.
Yes. And do you remember what happened the inaugural run of the Second Avenue subway?
What happened?
The train broke down.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yes.
this. Back in 2017?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it
All
was
right.
pretty funny.
You know, I'm lucky to have the Second Avenue subway right when I've just gone into exploring New York because it's very convenient with the Q train,
Okay.
get on that, going down into Queens. Lexington Avenue subway is still good. I take that a lot, but you know, the Q train is always great when trying to get to other places. The problem that's recently happened is with the F&M swap because now makes it a little bit harder to get into Queens.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't
It's like
experienced it, but I have heard.
the M is a local train, whereas the F is express in Queens. So things take longer. Some people like it. I'm hopeful for the people it benefits because I know it benefits more people.
Very
But for
nice.
most of the people I've met, it's actually been a burden for them. But you know, at least it's not on the weekends when I like to explore.
There you go. When I was a kid, actually, if we had nothing to do, we would grab tokens. Yes, I'm dating myself, tokens. And we would just take a ride on the A train just to have something to do.
Yeah, that's always fun, just taking the train, going to a random stop, and just exploring. I know plenty of people do that for fun. I've never actually done that, but you know, I think I am going to do that. I want to get off at the 7 train stop sometime and look at the
Mhm.
views, or maybe at the ones on the 1 train
Yeah.
going through Washington Heights and to Marble Hill. A few weeks ago, I actually took the 1 train up to the last stop in the Bronx, and it was definitely a great view and definitely a nice area as well to explore.
I know. And the A train, now, did you know that it splits at Rockaway Boulevard? Part of it goes straight and part of it turns to go to the Rockaways. So if you're going to the Rockaways, you have to make sure you're on the right train.
That's interesting. It splits into 3 branches, and I think I'm not the biggest expert on trains. I'm sure the reason they probably don't label it with other letters is because the last stop on the other end is still Inwood, which is why I'm thinking they should make another branch there.
Yeah,
Just so
maybe.
you can just label at least something as another train to not confuse people.
Maybe.
So, yeah, there's that. It's complicated. The subway is very complicated.
Yes, it is. So a couple more things about Howard Beach is the community does something called lemonade stand. I'm sure other communities do it as well, where a bunch of families with kids will make lemonade and they'll sit outside their house selling lemonade and other things. And they give us a route, and everybody from the neighborhood goes and visits each stand and buys lemonade. They make jewelry, they make sugar scrubs. It's really cool. The community gets out and walks, gets to know each other. The kids get a feeling of how to talk to people, how to sell. It's very interesting, very cool. Okay, so that's a lot about Howard Beach. And one other interesting fact is many, many moons ago, when there was a blackout citywide, Linden Boulevard still had lights, and so did my building, because my building seems to be on the same connection as the street lights on Linden Boulevard. So everybody else in the neighborhood was out except my building and the building next to us.
Wow.
Yeah, that
all
was pretty
right.
cool.
And Linden Boulevard is the perfect segue into our next segment of the podcast, which is current events. So for today, that will be the planned redesign on Linden Boulevard. I will now be reading an excerpt from an announcement that was released on the nyc.gov website from April 20th, 2026. Mayor Zohran Kwame Mamdani and the New York City Department of Transportation NYC-DOT Commissioner Mike Flynn today announced plans to install new bus lanes and safety upgrades along Linden Boulevard, one of Brooklyn's most dangerous corridors from Fountain Avenue to Conduit Avenue in East New York. The project will deliver faster, more reliable buses for 60,000 daily riders, while improving access to nearby subway lines and reconnecting neighborhoods long divided by the boulevard. Along this stretch, one person is injured in a traffic crash every 4 days, on average. So that's good. I know that there's been a lot of deadly roads throughout New York, and you know, they've done a great job trying to help heal them over the past few years. I know there's been Queens Boulevard, which they've been
Yeah.
fixing. So the only thing is bus lanes are the solution, apparently.
Yeah, but bus lanes just make it harder for people who are driving. And I realize that they want people to take buses. But in order for me to take a bus or a train to my job, it would either be two buses from the very beginning to the very last stop on the first one, and then several stops on the second one, at least an hour and a half going, and going home 2 hours. That's ridiculous. If there were more direct routes, it would be better. And I know they want to add more bus lanes. People will travel more on buses, but there are some places you just can't.
I know, and there's like a lot of buses, they don't really use the bus lanes. A lot of them can't go on it because they don't feel safe on it. So maybe when they add more, they'll feel safer, but it'll make it a lot harder for the community driving because not everyone can just get on public transport, you know?
Exactly.
You want to bring your dog with you, and I would also myself appreciate if someone didn't bring their dog on the subway. So, yeah, there are many reasons why someone would need to take a car.
Yeah, and just walking up and down stairs is difficult for people. Getting on and off a bus if they don't kneel enough, and just some of the routes are just crazy.
Definitely. Was it like this but for the Queens Bus redesign as well?
Well, it's a sore subject. The Queens Bus Redesign, actually, they were going to take away the Q41, but I rallied my whole neighborhood to complain. We sent thousands of emails to the MTA fighting this change, and they did not take away the Q41. They did, however, take away the Q21. So now half of Rockwood Park and most of Old Howard Beach only have one bus.
My.
And in Rockwood Park, they may have to walk like 10 to 15 blocks to get to a bus stop. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Queens Bus redesign, I'm sure it helps some people, but it's definitely very controversial for
And
a
it
lot
took
of
away
people.
some stops. It took away bus stops, and now you have to walk further.
Yeah.
And they said it's going to speed things up. Yeah, but for who? It doesn't seem to be user friendly. I actually went to a rally not too far from where I work. And, that's when I found out that they weren't going to take away the 41, but I didn't know about the 21. And they changed the Q11, which now inconveniences people from Old Howard Beach.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything you like about it?
About the Queens Bus redesign? Really not much. No.
I wonder who it does benefit. I know it's a very interesting subject, and I know it's been going on for a couple of years as well. It's happened, but I know it went on for 2 years?
At least.
Maybe
and
more.
I attended rallies. I also did a lot of online Zoom meetings. Somebody I know is a president of an organization to protest the Queens Bus redesign. They're like watchdogs for mass transit just to keep things safe and keep things running. So they were very influential as well.
Yeah, I need to join a lot more community meetings. I know there are a lot of those in New York where you can really talk and get your voice heard and hear others' opinions and get to know what they're doing with the urban planning there, which I really want to hear about. But, I haven't done that yet. Also a little shy to do it. It's also not all of them are my community, but, I'm still happy to know about the Queens waterfronts from Astoria to Willets Point. I still want to know about all that, but I haven't yet. I also don't know how much of the age is around there. I'm pretty young, so I don't know how people would feel seeing me.
Guess what? There's a 17-year-old that is on the school board of District 26. That's the district where I happen to work. 17-year-old. And if you are not comfortable speaking up, just go and sit in the meeting.
Yeah. I think I would want to try and bring a friend with me who would be interested in this. I know there are also virtual meetings. That would be nice to try.
Exactly. My community, the Lindenwood Civic Association, they have a bunch of virtual meetings right now. And unfortunately, I usually forget about them until the day after. But oops.
Yeah, I know. I think next time there's another one about greenways or waterfronts, I'm definitely going to find a way to get myself in it.
And you know what? I think they'll be happy to see you because I think they want more people involved. They want more opinions. They want more ideas. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Maybe I could find people who would want to be part of the podcast as well.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now that all of our main discussions are over, we'll be talking about what we've been up to in New York City lately and some of our plans for the future. So, as I said in the last episode, I was going to go to Citi Field, and that is what I have done. I went over to watch my first Mets game in Citi Field, and it was amazing. They won 1-10. People say the Mets always lose, and I'm just saying, my first time coming, and they've won. Maybe that has something to do with it. The view itself was very beautiful. You could see so much. You had a perfect view of the Bronx, perfect view of Manhattan, Brooklyn. You could even see some of the Upper East Side of Manhattan, which is kind of rare because Citi Field, it's actually pretty high up. I'm not sure how high, but it's definitely as tall as an apartment, which makes sense. The only thing is they didn't let me look at it after the game. After that, they wanted everyone to leave. So I have to remember to come back there again and look at it during the game.
Either that or will they let you in early?
I'm not sure. I'm not City Field expert. I came around when it was happening. I took the train there, and it was very, very crowded, the 7 train.
And a long walk from the train, right?
I mean, it was a little bit.
And a long walk to the Long Island Railroad.
They have a lot of stuff going on there. Like the 7th train is very crowded. It's kind of like same reasons why they need to add the 2nd Avenue subway to fix the crowding. I think an update for the 7 train is long overdue because it gets very crowded there. It's a part of Queens that everyone needs to get around to, and very crowded. But it was interesting seeing people with like Mets stuff, like when you were far away, because you knew, oh, they're going to the Mets game too, or they came from there. Like, we're the same. And you know what's also interesting is that when I was getting back on the subway in the 7 train, we paid the toll, we went in, and then the guy opened a giant gate and let a bunch of other people in for free.
Oh, no.
Because of some event thing. So that made us feel a little cheated.
I could imagine that. I haven't been to Citi Field at all, but I used to have partial season tickets when it was still Shea Stadium. I was annoyed that they changed the name. I was very annoyed.
I remember Georgia last episode on the podcast was talking about her life going to Shea Stadium back when she lived in Flushing.
Yeah. So I don't know why they couldn't call it Shea Stadium at Citi Field, you know?
I guess. There's still Shea Road.
Okay.
Right by it, which was actually great. I got to walk by that. There's a little waterfront there that I like to walk on, and it was nice to see it again. There were a huge crowd of people this time because apparently a ferry is there that can take people there to like Staten Island or New Jersey. So it was interesting to see other people go there because it's not a very popular waterfront. Anyway, this weekend I'm going to see my first Yankees game in Yankee Stadium. What's interesting about that one is that I've not been around the area. I've walked to Citi Field many times from Manhattan. I've explored the area.
Oh my goodness, that's quite the walk.
Yeah, I know, but I love doing it. And this time, Yankee Stadium, it's an area I've never been to in the Bronx, and it's going to be fun to take the 4 train up to it and look in the area. I'm going to eat at a restaurant there. I'm not sure which one. I don't remember.
Who are you going with?
A friend from Florida.
Very nice. I haven't been to Yankee Stadium in forever and a day.
Oh, wow.
Well, I will tell you, though, I participated in something this weekend. There was a street fair in Forest Hills.
Yes.
So a couple of coworkers and I went to the street fair, and it was very nice. It was hot. And it's funny because they advertise it from 69th Road to like 72nd something. And people thought that that was 3 blocks. It's not, because there's a 69th Road, 69th Drive, 69th Avenue, 70th Road, Drive, and Avenue. Yeah. So because the friends I was with.
Court and Lane, all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It was very funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I went to, was it on Continental Avenue? Was it around there, Austin Street?
It was on Austin Street.
Yeah. I know they had the same one, I think, on March 29th. I went to that one. They had a Queens Link booth, a T-Mobile booth. They had everything there.
Yeah, they have it a couple of times a year.
Yeah, it was really nice to go there and see a street fair for the first time. I went to one in Gowanus afterwards, but I have a list of all the street fairs that are happening in New York, and I want to see a lot of them.
Yeah,
it's really going to help me get involved with the New York communities.
That's cool.
And I walked around Forest Hills that day. Me and my friends were there. We went a little more south, and then we were going to go back to the street fair. So they were tired, so they took a bus. I think it was the Q50. I could be wrong. And then I walked, and I still arrived before them.
That's very funny.
He told me that the Q50 is known to be one of the slowest buses.
I believe it's a fairly new one, isn't it, though?
Might be, Queens Bus Redesign, they changed it. Yeah. I also took the Q50 on May 17th into Queens from the Bronx when I was taking my friend from Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Through New York. And I took him to Forest Hills. He loved it a lot.
Very good.
Anything you're doing this weekend in New York City?
Not that I know of.
Any more street fairs you think you'd go to?
Yeah, but I haven't heard about them yet. I look in the paper. I look online.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I don't even remember how I first found out about street. I think it was looking on the Queens Link Instagram page. The Queens Link is a nonprofit organization that wants to extend the M train. And that's when they said there was going to be a street fair. So I went to that one. Then I found out about the ones in Gowanus. I was going to go to the Mass Pet Street Fair too on April 25th. But it got rainy. And I think they also canceled it anyway.
Did they make it the next day or the next weekend?
I'm not sure when they made it. I love Maspeth. I only go there once a year and
I
didn't
haven't
go.
been to Maspeth, I don't think.
You should go to Maspeth. It's very residential, nothing to do, but that's just the way I like it. So I want to go back to Maspeth sometime this year. I want to look at Ridgewood, of course. Ridgewood is nice as well. A lot of Queens I haven't been to yet. A lot I have, a lot I haven't, and that's what makes it fun. I'm not trying to go everywhere. I want to take my time.
I love it. Sounds good.
Okay, so now for the final segment of our podcast, we will be asking Myra a trivia question.
Okay. I hope I know the answer. I may make one up.
So, before Brooklyn became a borough, it was its own county, with a portion of it being named Brooklyn. Before the name was fully adapted, when all the boroughs consolidated, What was Brooklyn's original county name?
I'm hoping it was Kings County. I could be wrong.
You are incorrect.
Oh,
Just kidding. You are the first person on the podcast to get a correct answer.
yay. Go me. Go me.
So that's perfect. I always try to get a question that like either it'll be super hard for them or they'll definitely know the answer. And I was really thinking you weren't going to know it, but you did.
Well, and did you also know that Staten Island is Richmond County?
Yes, I know that.
Okay.
Queens County, Richmond County. That's what was going to be my hint. Think of the surrounding consolidated counties. But yeah, that's great. You were first one on the podcast to get a
Yay.
correct answer.
Go
So
me. Go me.
was not expecting that today, but you did it.
There we go.
Yeah, so it used to be Kings County. I know it was split into different towns. Brooklyn, Gravesend, what were they all?
But you know, the interesting thing, when you mail something to Brooklyn, it's Brooklyn, New York. When you mail something to Queens, it's Howard Beach, New York, Ozone Park,
Yes.
New York, Maspeth, New York.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah.
How they have all the unique neighborhoods in Queens. They should do that with the other boroughs too. At least it has the other borough name. When someone lives in Bronx or Brooklyn, it still says that rather than just New York.
Right.
Honestly, I wish they did that for the Manhattan too. It still says New York, New York, and it's like I want my neighborhood vibe in it.
There you
I
go.
wanna be
And then, you know what?
represented.
A little bit more trivia. When I was a kid, we didn't have zip codes. So I was born in Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn, comma 4, comma New York. That's how you did the address.
Wow.
Now
A
it's
lot simpler.
11204 over there.
Where in Brooklyn were you born?
In Midwood.
Ah, yes, I've been to a little bit of Midwood.
Yeah,
It's nice. What was that like?
I was a little kid. I don't remember much.
So you went to Queens right after?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, makes sense. I've always lived in the same neighborhood. I hope one day I can live in every borough. That would be so much
Sounds like a
fun.
plan.
I've thought of some places. All of the neighborhoods are really nice. I could really adapt there if I did live there. I just have to figure that out. Anyway, that's going to be all for now. But if you enjoyed this episode of Beacon Spire NYC, then please feel free to check out some of the other podcasts, leave a comment, and stay tuned for the next one. Once again, this podcast is Beacon Spire NYC, available to listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. I'm Ishan Mehta, and you can find more of my work on Beacon Spire NYC on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Oh, well, thank you so much, Myra, for taking your time to have your input on this podcast. And thank you all so much for choosing to listen to the beginning of my New York City content. It is greatly appreciated. Until then, this is Ishan and Myra, signing off.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.